Welcome to the May Fire Chief's video message. This month I have Lieutenant Rob Tobin from Station 10B, and joining me today he wants to talk about skilled nursing facilities and his role as the skilled nursing facility liaison. So Rob, welcome. Thank you for coming. Thank you for wanting to express and share with the department what the skilled nursing facilities, or SNF, liaison role is. So how long have you been doing that?
I've been the skilled nursing liaison for 20 years. I developed the program when I was at Station 3. And then we had a smaller number of nursing homes. I can't remember the count. However, today we have 29 skilled nursing.
And what defines skilled nursing versus assisted living versus elderly housing complex?
Okay.
What defines skilled nursing?
Skilled nursing facility has a medical director, has 4 RNs, and then a multiple number of LPNs.
Okay, so just shy of 30 skilled nursing facilities. And one of the things that in one of my past activities with special ops and emergency management is those skilled nursing facilities are required to have emergency plans and generator continuity capability. So when the power goes out, it's like a fire station, things keep on happening. Other types of group homes or elderly living complexes don't specifically have those requirements for continuity and self-sufficiency.
Absolutely. I mean, we're growing in the group home area, so there are countless numbers out there, and they grow daily.
So what do you see, and what is your role in skilled nursing liaison? What have you gotten those facilities to do, and what do you hope that they do to assist with the field providers?
The biggest thing is developing a relationship, and I hope that area stations will do that with their local nursing homes and assisted living. The relationship, being able to go into the facility and speak with them freely and discuss situations such as when to call 911, when not to call 911, how to manage problems that they can do on their own. The biggest thing is their confidence level. Once their confidence level increases, our call load will go down.
Once the facility's confidence level increases.
Absolutely.
And our field personnel should utilize the EMS supervisors and the EMS section staff as their support and their tools to interface with those facilities.
Absolutely, and when there is a concern form on the web page so that they can document the concern, and that'll go directly to Lieutenant Boltrowski and myself.
And do you have a quarterly or annual meeting cycles with these facilities, or how often do you actually try to get into those facilities to touch base from the liaison role?
From the liaison role, I do it through, number one, the concern form, also through Kathy Schoonover. She's the Department of Health licensure individual who handles all skilled nursing facilities. Right. She lets me know where some problems are, and I go out there. And she also tells the skilled nursing facilities about me and our abilities to go out and train. So there's not an annual.
Cool. And the thing that our folks are probably aware of, but may not be astute to the fine details, is the growth of what we would describe as seniors, but the growth of the senior population or the aging population in Montgomery County. The Commission for Aging, as you said, Health and Human Services is one of the lead groups in that, but the Commission for Aging identifies that the senior group and the senior age element is growing at 7 times faster than any other age group within the county. And by 2040, so a little over 20 years from now, the senior population will have grown by about 113% from the data it was just 5 years ago. So from 2010 to 2040, the amount of seniors in the county is going to go from about 119,000 to about 250,000. And that's something that you're identifying, you're talking about and dealing with. We see the Leisure Worlds, the Asbury, the Manor Cares, the Riderwoods, and many other smaller organizations having continuity of care complexes, which includes skilled nursing. But as that senior population grows, our call volume does uptick, and these folks that are living longer at home or living longer in their primary personal residence are also getting more complicated medical conditions and home health care support, which then when that is in need of assistance, their main assistance point is us. So that's something that used to be a nursing home patient 10 years ago or 20 years ago is now a home patient with some assistant adjuncts, and we're seeing that as a complicating factor to that call volume that we're dealing with. So skilled nursing is definitely dynamic. You had a question related to skilled nursing and the dispatching of calls. What was that question?
Well, we still have a problem with non-emergent calls to skilled nursing facilities, such as bad labs. I must say that sometimes bad labs is appropriate call, for 911.
And for the folks out there, can you describe what a appropriate need for emergency transport would be for the quote bad labs?
Okay, a severely anemic patient. Someone who cannot wait for a private ambulance, which could take 4 to 6 hours. So someone who has a crit level of less than 4, we don't know where they're bleeding from. Potassium level, if those potassium levels are off, they need to be seen.
And then the non-urgent bad labs.
Sodium level, I hear that over and over again. He has a high sodium level. He has a low sodium level. Those are situations where a private ambulance can be managed.
And those are the discussion points that you work on when you hear the concerns, when you get the messaging from the field about the patient that had a high or low
absolutely. And
blood level.
And that's where I wish that field personnel will also take the step and explain it to them. Sometimes they'll know that these are inappropriate lab values, but also know that they're not used. You should not be using 911.
Right. And you articulated the question before we started taping is when do you think we'll have a registered nurse or a PA, physician's assistant, at the 911 center? And I threw out the acronym ECNs. And as I've said here before, our goal, and one of the goals of Chief Kinsley at ECC, is to implement ECNs, or Emergency Communications Nurse Protocol, where we have EMD, EFD, the police have implemented EPD. Once we get dual accreditation at the 911 center, we can then implement ECNs, where the low acuity patients, the omegas or some of the alphas, would be able to be transferred to that nurse or advanced healthcare provider that's sitting at ECC, run a different set of protocol questions, and potentially defer the 911 dispatch, provide them guidance and instructions as to how to deal with their low acuity issue, provide them a feedback loop, provide them a callback at a certain point. So that goal would be to defer the dispatch of some of these low acuity 911 calls. Now, with 90,000 EMS calls last year, up 4% from the year before, we're going to stem the tide of the rise. We're not going to lower the rise and have a reduction in that EMS calls. But ECNS is on the radar for ECC. We've talked about it through budget and council staff, and we are getting closer to having the center fully accredited from both sides, where we can then implement that as an evaluation, and ideally move that as our baseline and have that as a position. Another person plugged into a console, ready to take those low acuity calls and assist.
And that would be very helpful. Because sometimes all they really want to is talk to somebody. They want to, pass that on to someone else and get another idea. So they're comfortable talking with others. And I think that would be an awesome addition to.
Excellent. So anything else from the skilled nursing perspective that you want the folks in this field to benefit from?
Keep in mind that the skilled nursing facility will be increasing in the acuity level. Hospitals are discharging patients earlier and earlier, and they're sick when they are discharged. So these facilities are having sick people, such as Genesis over there on Belpre Road. They are receiving really sick people. So when you go to this facility, you're just not getting the chronically ill patient. You're going to be getting seriously ill patients.
And that's a different call type, a different approach. As we said, people are being sicker at home or more complex medical conditions that are no longer in the hospital or other advanced treatment facilities. Good point. And as we deal with every call, we have to treat the patient the same no matter what type of call it is, no matter what time of day it is, if it's the third call or the 30th call.
Absolutely.
My hat's off to all of the providers that do that. And we do a great job at treating every patient the same as we treat every other patient. And I appreciate the value that our providers are giving that when they do that. You have a question for me about fire grounds. What was that question?
Fireground operations, it tends to be there's more focus on building out the command structure than actually getting involved in and attacking the fire. We seem to dance around the fire gently, and then we also tend to play catch up, and because suddenly the fire has now gotten out of control because we've danced around it. Is there any concern on that you see? We're seeing building more of a command structure before.
And this is a message or a concern that the chiefs do hear. And the chiefs get asked, why do you tell me what to do? I know I'm the third due engine company. I'm supposed to be the rapid intervention unit. I know I'm the fourth due engine company. I'm supposed to be above the fire after checking the basement. Why do you tell me to do that? And we know our unit officers know their SOP. We know that a majority of our fires do fall within the SOP, but a number of our fires don't fall within the SOP, but the SOP does a good job of providing guidance. The incident commander, he or she is working through validating that he or she has an accountability for where those crews are. While the fourth due engine company could say, engine 799, command, entering side A, going to check the basement, and then proceed to the second floor. That's actually part of policy. Every unit entering an IDLH is to announce where they're going and what they're doing. But we only do that with the first due engine company. If the fourth due did that, potentially the chief wouldn't need to have made a radio transmission, command engine 799, confirm you're going to check the basement, and then proceed to the second floor to check for extension. It's a check and balance process. The chief is working on his or her tactical worksheet to document and provide accountability because we send 30-some folks to a structure fire. And he or she is responsible for those 30 folks. And when something happens and we're in a bad situation, we want to know where those units are and then how many people were in those units and what transpired. So they are doing a verbal transmission of that affirming or affirmation that the unit's doing what the SOP says they're doing or that they're doing what the chief perceives that they're doing. You used the word catch-up, and that was a really good word, and it wasn't malicious intent, but when our chief is arriving early into the incident, he or she comes in with the second due companies or even better with the first due companies, they're on the front end of that incident and they see the units arriving, they see the units going to work, they see the units going to their assignments. They may verbalize the statement that, engine 750, you are the third due rapid intervention. But when he or she arrives later in the incident, when there's already 3 or 4 stations on the scene and you have maybe 20 personnel on the scene, he or she is in a partial catch-up mode because they don't know where that second due ladder truck went. They don't know that they went to the exposure B because that was the more threatened exposure than exposure D. And while it could be clear, visually clear, it may not be so visually clear, and he or she may be saying, command to, fourth due engine and second due truck, which exposure are you in? And they are, in very basic tense, in a catch-up mode to understanding who's where, so they have that accountability. Sitting in the car, any of those chief officers is got a daunting task, and the challenges that they face trying to ensure that we have the accountability for those folks, because we're sending those 30 folks. We're arriving roughly all within about a 5-minute window and going to work on the structure, and it is complex, and that's a balancing act that people say, well, why are you telling me what to do? I know what to do. The assignments of a division telling you as an officer on the engine company that you're Division 2 is providing span of control activities. Is okay, you're on Division 2 and so is Truck 10. Both officers are reporting, or excuse me, both units are reporting to you, and now I have one person who is responsible for that level of activity. That is a division and group assignment. That is a command structure and context, but it's as simple as saying, Command Engine 710, you're operating on the second floor, Truck 710 is reporting to you. He basically told you were Division 2 without stating that I'm calling you Division 2, but it's important that we do that for that nomenclature and terminology. So it's something that the guys and gals in the Chiefs car need to take care of and do, and would welcome folks to express and understand what it is. Come to the Command Development Center and experience some of that. So it's a great question. It's something that we hear. It's something that I welcomed you bringing to the table, because it's something that I do want to ensure that our folks understand, that we're not doubting their abilities to follow the SOP. We're just trying to affirm that they're there and provide that accountability so that the chief in the car can attest that he or she knows where those people are operating at. So very good question. Okay. Anything else for me?
I think that's all.
And that's really great, because I got a full list and wanted to play catch up, because a couple months back I had planned to do a fire station update activity on construction processes and activities going on, and our taping went long with one of my guests and I just never got to it. So we've got a lot of construction activity ongoing, a few things getting ready to start, and a few things that got more approval even just as recent as yours today. So Station 18 is rolling along. October will be starting the moving in process with that should be completed by the end of October, and 18 will come back to the Randolph Road area from Old Rescue 2, give or take the beginning of November. Firm date's not been set, but as you see with those pictures there, 18 is rolling along for sure. Renovation plans at 25 are well underway. Got an update just today of I use the word extreme makeover, because they're adding 2 bays, they're doubling the size of the living quarters of the firehouse, doing a very complex phasing process so that station can maintain operation while they do that construction. I hope that starts this fall of 2016. May get pushed just a tad into the beginning of next year, but I hope not. But 25 renovation is on the way for sure. The new academy, going like gangbusters. They've started paving. They've started putting windows in. Exterior cladding is going on many of the buildings. Clearly, Hess Construction is on target for a July and August time frame. So we will be moving our academic activities for the fall period clearly to the academy. And the exact date of that move and the academic change is yet to be determined, but they're on target, likely some type of groundbreaking in September. Let me rephrase that. Ribbon cutting in September. We did groundbreaking before. Likely a ribbon cutting in September, but Chief Clemens is out there on a weekly basis, and things are moving along, like I said, gangbusters at the new academy. Clarksburg 35. We were in front of the full council yesterday, providing an update about 35. We've gotten the last couple of major steps approved. We had a community meeting last week. We're going to continue with the property as we've had for a couple of years now, next to the bank on Route 355. That's where the station will go. The station will actually be a two-story design. As the pictures articulate, the training room, the exercise room, the community service office, the police office, some of those non-day-to-day fire station support areas will be on the second floor. But the day room, the kitchen, the bunk rooms, the locker rooms, the station commander's office, and the watch office, the day-to-day station functions will all be on the first floor, and will fit within that property, will fit within the 10 Mile Creek watershed and focus area, and hopefully we'll get seeing that start becoming a reality in about a year from now. So that's been a long time coming. It's actually been about 12 years since they did the first site survey process up there, but 35 is now definitely moving on. 23, the Randolph Road at Chapman Avenue, that's actually slipping the other way. Originally, you've seen some pictures in these videos about how 23 would be the bottom of a 9 to 13 story high-rise mixed-use facility with apartments above the firehouse. It looks like that's actually not the case going forward. It'll be a mixed-use site. Yes, it will. It'll probably be 2 or so buildings at about 7 stories each for the apartments and the parking, but the fire station will be standalone. The fire station will be 5 bays and have a third EMS unit with it, clearly needed in that part of the county. But the fire station will be a standalone structure with a lot of neighbors. And I compare that to where it is today. What used to be the putt-putt golf course is now, 4-story and 5-story townhouses and apartments right across the street. It'll be no different than what 23 experiences today. It'll just be, 4 blocks south on Montrose Road. So 23 will be coming, but it won't be as early as we had hoped. In each of my video sessions, we strive to do a recognition of good deed. And we have had plenty of examples on that, but this month I'm not going to recognize a good deed. I'm going to recognize an amazing service. Just last week, we paid final respects to Jack Hartley, or Chief John Hartley from Bethesda Chevy Chase Rescue Squad. 66 years of service to the squad. 1949 is when he started at the squad. Held almost every position that can be conceived, both within the squad, within the county association, within the state activities, and has been a permanent fixture at Battery Lane in the squad for many years. He passed away a little over a week ago now, and we were able to, just back in March, provide recognition of Jack's achievements to the squad and his lifetime of service when we provided him the Leslie B. Thompson Community Service Award at the last Chamber of Commerce Valor Award. So 66 years, a person who was involved with the structure, the building, the maintenance of the building they're at today, and all of their apparatus for the last many decades. And one of his last activities was a trip back to the Horton Ambulance Manufacturing Facility, a place that he's been many times over the years as BCC made their unit. So tragic to see Jack pass on, but the folks from BCC and other organizations throughout Montgomery County, including Cabin John that Jack was affiliated with, have a deep loss, and thanks to Jack and to his family for all the benefits that Montgomery County received, and fire rescue in general received from Jack for his many, many years. So that's the recognition for sure this month. we were tying skilled nursing into what this weekend would be the state's community risk reduction push. And my guest next month is Jim Resnick. Jim's going to be here. We're talking about Senior Outreach Initiative as one, and what the community outreach section is focusing on, and some of the highlights from that perspective. Our website, MC Safe, allows any resident within the county to go online, request a home safety inspection. Folks from community outreach or the local station will, show up within about the first 24 hours, do that home safety inspection, ensure that smoke detector is there and all the other key factors of home safety is taken care of. And that goes towards our goal of preventing that 911 call. If we can prevent it, then we're less taxed to respond to it. And that's obviously our first goal, is preventing it. So Jim will be here next month, but everybody know about the MC Safe website and the information that was shown on the screen about how to get a home safety inspection scheduled, and look forward to seeing Jim next month. So any last things for me?
It's been an awesome time here, and thank you for having me. And I wanted to update on the skilled nursing facilities. It's 34. 34, and our assisted living is 29.
Okay. Did you get that through, somebody text message you and
No,
got it in your ear?
I just remember that number. I just, oops, I got the number wrong.
Okay.
So,
a couple dozen of each.
Yeah.
So there's no doubt
a lot out there.
They're growing, as we said.
It's actually 4,500 beds, the skilled nursing facility beds we have. So 4,500.
It's definitely a lot.
So I think we're doing well when it comes to call load, but.
Yeah. 90,000 calls and 70,000 patients transported. It's a bunch. So for future months, I'm going to reach out to you guests now, or I say future guests. Actually, I only have 2 more guests on the reservation list, Jim Resnick and 1 more. So after July, I need somebody to sit in the seat where Rob is today. So if you're interested, shoot me an email, let me know. I'll add to the reservation list, and look forward to having you come join me at the studio here. So it's May. After the dreary weather gets over, I think we're at 13 days with rain in a row, but after the dreary weather gets over, it'll warm up, and get out there, take care of training activities, take care of community outreach activities, and take care, be safe. Until next time, thank you.